Welcome everyone to my video on assignment 7057, in which I will be talking about task number 2, in which you have to show how you can apply lesson 7 to your own writing in assignment 7083. Okay, so as you can see, we're in the wiki page. This is the assignment prompt for 7057. And if we scroll down to our tasks, you should have already completed your executive summary of Lesson 7 in the form of a memo, and now this video is going to be talking about task number 2, a memo in which you apply things that you learned in Lesson 7 on concision to your own writing using your writing from 7083 as examples. Okay, so first what I would recommend doing is looking through your writing from assignment 7083. It could be from the audience analysis or from the letter report, either one is fine. And you want to try to find examples of where you could revise it given the things that you learned from lesson 7. So for example, if you found that you used a lot of meta discourse, you could pick out several examples of where you could make your writing more concise by removing unnecessary meta discourse. Or you might find a bunch of examples where you used two words that mean the same thing. So like skills and traits. And so you could find a bunch of examples of double words and use those as examples. Okay, so basically just look for places in your own writing from assignment 7083 where you could revise your writing and make your language more concise. And I would recommend that you even label those examples the rule that you would be using. Okay, so once you have marked up or annotated your drafts from 7083 concerning which rules of concision you could apply, now you're ready to draft your memo. So I've got one started here, and this is the memorandum structure, and this is supposed to be addressed to your pretend boss in the scenario, Alex Nostrovia. Put the date that you complete it, and make sure that your RE or subject line is specific to this particular document. So Alex should be able to tell the difference between this memo versus any other memo that you write to him. Okay, so this should look fairly familiar from our previous Writing About Writing 2. So 7056, I introduced this outline for this particular kind of reflection. So it just kind of takes you through the structure. So you should have an opening paragraph in which you introduce the rules from Lesson 7 that you found most helpful. Now, since Alex Nostrovia assigned this task to you, you might decide that he already knows what the reading is. So he supposedly assigned this to you out of the employee guidebook. So the difference between this task and the one prior, the executive summary, is audience. That's one difference. In the previous example, in the executive summary, you're supposed to be summarizing the content for someone who's not read the writing. But in this reflection, since this is a reflection on how you could apply it, you could say that Alex should at this point be familiar with the content, so you wouldn't need to re-explain the rules, especially since he just finished reading an executive summary of it. So no need to redefine the rules of concision. You can just say these were the rules that were useful. Okay, so for example, I might say the rules I found most helpful were delete double words and remove meta discourse. Okay, and so that would basically act as my thesis. And so I would want to make sure that each of my topics in my thesis are then developed in a body paragraph. So since delete double words is my first topic in my thesis, it should be the first topic in my body paragraphs. So paragraph 2 would be about deleting double words. And then paragraph 3 would be about meta discourse. So remember, that's how we make our writing a logical progression. You create in your thesis, you promise your reader, I'm going to address these topics in this order, and then you address those topics in that order, like you promised to. They will be expecting it. All right, so let's say my first body paragraph says, one of the rules I found really helpful was delete double words. Now, you can use I in this memo. It's not appropriate in the executive summary, but since this is you applying the rules to your writing, I think that indicates that it's very appropriate for you to use first person. So I would say, I found the rule about deleting double words to be really useful. Really is one of those fluff words that we could take out according to lesson 7. Okay, so that's my premise. Then I would want to support that. So the next thing I want to do is quote from my 7083 assignment a sentence or two or several in which I use double words mistakenly. And so I would quote from 7083 that I wrote that I could apply this rule or this revision. So quote, and then describe how you would revise that quote given the advice from lesson 7. So describe what you would do to it. So I would simply remove traits and leave skills. And then go ahead and quote the revised versions of your example. So what would it look like after you apply these revisions? And then I'd like for you to conclude your body paragraph by explaining why you think this new version here is better. And if you don't think it's better, then you shouldn't be writing about it. Pick a different example, pick a different rule to apply. Because the whole point of this is to be able to apply the rules so that you can improve your writing. And if it's not improving your writing, then you should focus on something else that will. Okay, and so that would be one paragraph. So each part of this is a sentence or two in one paragraph. And once you're done proving it, you're ready to move on. So you should apply the rules at least twice. That means at least two body paragraphs applying different rules. And if you want to be safe, you can always throw in a third example of you applying rules from lesson 7. What I will be checking for, the objective of this document, is to see that you can accurately name and apply the rules from lesson 7 in an effective way. So name it, apply it correctly, and prove to me why you think it's better. Okay? So don't just conclude by saying it's more concise. Tell me what effect you think this better version has on your reader. Why is it more concise, and what effect does that concision have on the reader? Okay? So if you can do that twice, then your objective for this document will be met. Move on to your closing paragraph. So resolve conflicts between rules or between how you used to write and these tips. So this is a concluding paragraph, basically, telling me why this has mattered to you. Maybe there's a couple of rules that seem to be in conflict with one another. And so in the closing paragraph, you would talk about how you make sense of those conflicting rules together. However, you may not find any of the rules conflicting. And so instead, you can talk about how these tips or rules conflict with how you used to write. And so just give me some insight into there. And so what I'm looking for is something really honest and unique to you. I really don't want to read the same generic stuff from every single person. This should be about you and your writing. Okay? So that is all there is to it. This probably shouldn't be longer than a full page, single-spaced. It's okay if it goes over, but you don't need to try to reach for long memos here, okay? So just remember that in this memo, the objective is to show me that you understand the rules well enough to apply them to your own writing. Make sure you show examples, and that you have an interesting thought for why you think it's better. Okay, that's it. Meet that objective, show me at least 2 examples, i.e. 2 body paragraphs, and you'll meet the objective for this document. All right. I hope this video was helpful, and if so, you'll check out my next one about the last memo for this assignment. And if you have any further questions, I hope you'll bring those to our virtual classroom or email me. Good luck.